Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Sounds of Stadia channel here on youtube.com/Sounds of Stadia. You're joining myself, Chris, one of your hosts for the next hour or so, alongside the man of many pixels this Thursday evening UK time, Mr. Richie. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. It's starting to cool down today. It was really warm earlier, but just getting to a comfortable level.
It is. I've turned my lights blue just so I feel a bit cooler. I'm hoping it'll just like sensitize me to think it's nice and cool.
Maybe that's it. I'm blue as well, so
it's clear. It's all psychological. You're joining us, of course, as we watch along and react to the EA Play live event that's starting in a mere 25 seconds. However, there is a 15-minute pre-show, so we will have a little bit of time to talk and theorise and catch up with all you wonderful people in the chat, which I now realise as I glance to my left I've minimised. So let's see who's here. Who have we got? Wizzy Wazza, Richie Ask Any Predictions, Kumnar, Sidnar, and a few other people there. I can't see all the names. It's not catching up with me. But 2 seconds. Yeah. Well, let's see what the pre-show's about first, Richie. See if we get anything drastic before we start talking over everything.
Before we get into the pre-show, if we've got time, bear in mind they have already done a few smaller spotlights on the future FPS, EA Originals, Madden has had one, and FIFA has had one as well. So we might not see anything big from Madden, we might not see anything big for FIFA, we might not see anything huge from the FPS stuff or the indies, because these have had their own mini events already.
I was going to say, we've certainly not seen cows in a field.
Yeah.
And I believe, and there we go, randomly. So yeah, we know the events, the main show is hosted by Xavier Woods of WWE fame. Yeah. Setting expectations in check. We've covered this on the podcast this past week with Clive. We spoke about it a couple of times, and we've had the news come out regarding things like FIFA and such. We believe FIFA 22 was the final game in agreement of the 5 promised games from Mr. Phil Harrison coming to Stadia. We had confirmation this past week that Battlefield 2042 also isn't coming to Stadia anytime soon. It was the community manager confirmed that over on Twitter. We spoke about that on this week's podcast. If you haven't checked that out already, it's available now here on the YouTube channel and podcast services up there in the digital cloud. But yeah, I'm more here as a fan of some EA games tonight than I am necessarily looking for Stadia news. But we can hope still.
I can't remember what show I said it on, but I've definitely said it in one of our shows where I'm not sure how much the 5 games that we've told about, how much that actually holds true anymore. Mm-hmm. Or is it just a case of this was the initial deal and we've moved on from there?
Yeah. Again,
which I hope is true.
Yeah, I mean, as a business, you would hope they're constantly negotiating more contracts to come along. We might get a surprise or two, but I just think, we shouldn't be disappointed. We know the big ones aren't coming. This presentation is very much going to be Battlefield focused. They got the FIFA, the Madden stuff out the way and some kind of early pre-content that was released a few days back. Yeah. They've been trickling that information out, trailers, guest appearances on all the gaming news sites. So, hoping for that surprise that we think might be Dead Space, Richie. Dead Space Remastered Trilogy, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumours around us.
Looking forward to that.
And I can't remember. Did we get confirmation that Dragon Age wasn't going to be here? Or they just made that up entirely?
You know what? They've announced that many things aren't going to be here. It's hard to know what's even left in their slate of games to showcase. I feel like every other day I've opened up Twitter and it said, this game will not be at EA, we'll confirm it, will not. Yeah. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, why can't I speak this evening?
Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order 2 will not be here. They'll probably save that for Star Wars Celebration.
It was Star Wars that I heard, not... I knew it was one of the biggies.
Well, now you say Dragon Age out loud, that sounds like I've read that as well now. Now you've said it. Someone in the chat will know as well. Let's check in with them. Not into Game 62. Evening. Welcome to the Battlefield show. You most certainly could be right. Alex is the chat as well, saying, hey guys, hope you're all good people. We're just here to kind of just watch some EA news. Maybe get some release dates.
Reading from Eurogamer, I'm just going to read the title of the article. Dragon Age and Mass Effect will skip this month's EA Play Live. And that was published on the 2nd July this month.
Okay.
This year, so... Yep, no Dragon Age.
Yeah, I think it's a bit early for some Mass Effect news, so that's no surprise. And Dragon Age, I'm surprised they haven't got a little bit more to show because we only got a teaser last summer, if I recall right.
Maybe if it's 2022, they're 22. Maybe they're saving it for Game Awards.
It could be that. Yeah, and we don't know how much all of these games have been impacted and pushed back due to COVID, such and development time. We've seen a few games this last week actually with some Ubisoft titles were pushed back a little bit. Riders Republic was pushed back to later this October now, and we also saw Tom Clancy's
I think for the next few years we're going to be playing what games aren't going to be delayed rather than what games are going to be delayed.
Yeah. This Lost in Random game they keep going back to has me really keen on it though. It's got big little Nightmare vibes for me with some claymation stuff.
It seems to be a big hope for the indie side for them. The EA originals.
Yeah, no time to game. 62 in the chat says might see a new Need for Speed. I would have probably predicted a Need for Speed, having not had one this year yet with it being annualised, but they did come out and confirm that the team working on Need for Speed have been moved over to, I think Criterion have been moved over to a different support for a different game. I can't remember what it was though, in hindsight. But they did say there wouldn't be coming one this year.
I would have rewatched our side quest because we went into all the minutiae of the different franchises.
I can't remember if it was to help out the Codemasters team on something instead, or it was to help out with the Star Wars game. There was definitely a reason why I don't think we're expecting a Need for Speed title this year. I think Heat didn't perform overly well too. So we shall see.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be Codemasters. They've literally just been bought. Well, we'll see.
Should we move our names up, Richie, so we're not blocking while we've got time?
Yeah, possibly.
Can do. Where are we at?
I think we're having a sort of golden age at the moment.
See if I can get everything in shot.
People like myself
Name
start
tags.
to see themselves coming through in these stories, and I hope that.
Just make sure I get every correct bit before I start moving things around. Actually, no, it's not worth it. Not worth it. Just messing stuff up on camera. Crazy Bad in the chat. Hope you're good as well. And Alex Smith. Crazy Bad asking, would love to see Apex Stadia drop. Actually, when you say that, Crazy Bad, remember it was probably about a year to the day then since we had the EA Play event. And beforehand, if you recall, Richie, there was a journalism debrief for the journalists, and
yes, there was.
They were told Apex was coming to Stadia. I think it was the Huffington Post, if I recall right, ran a whole article about it coming, and then they were told that the brief was wrong and it wasn't coming to Stadia. And here we are a year later, and it never actually did come out. Which it was, I think we thought it was going to be in line with the Switch release.
And it was strongly predicted that Apex would be one of the 5 games.
Yep.
But then when it never came, and now it appears, if that 5 games is even still a thing, it has been for the last even 6 months. It might have been long before then that got rid of the 5 games thing.
Yeah.
That was just the initial deal that they announced. Yeah. But we've had 2 Maddens and 2 FIFAs, so.
And a Jedi Fallen Order. So yeah, it's we could be surprised. Again, it plays on the Switch, but it's, as with many of these games as a service titles, a lot of the companies have came out and said it's just supporting them across multiple platforms when they require constant tweaking and updating as a games as a service. It's just too much to add another platform on that maybe doesn't see the return on investment. So it might just be a case of waiting for some of these. In terms of some of the titles, though, Ted Wu in the chat, thanks for stopping by again, Ted. Saying the new Battlefield game will not have a single-player campaign. It does not, Ted. That was confirmed about probably 2 weeks ago, I think. We covered it on the podcast as well. That, for me, tipped Battlefield from being a really, really hype game for me this year to practically not interested at all. I absolutely loved Battlefield 1 with the little vignette stories. I thought they were all individually unique and fantastic, and I had a great time playing them, which then in turn made me want to play the multiplayer. This Battlefield game being just a multiplayer only for £70 it's really just fell off a cliff for me in terms of interest, which I was a bit disappointed by, unfortunately.
I've never really played a Battlefield game. I've played quite a handful of different Call of Duties. So I was like, okay, if this one's coming to Stadia, maybe this is one I give a chance. And as someone who is unabashedly more of a single-player gamer, it just feels like I don't want to pay that much money for a multiplayer game that I'm barely going to play.
Yeah, and again, we covered it on the show, but yeah, the fact that they're asking for full RRP price when arguably you can go play however many shooters like Apex, like Call of Duty Warzone for free, and you're getting the same experience, online multiplayer shooter. Why pay £70?
That's the thing with things like Call of Duty, Warzone being free to play, especially. That puts it into a different context, where before we said, that's just the price of a AAA multiplayer game.
Yep.
But now it feels like that. If it's £70 and the game survives 5+ years and all the extra content is free, barring cosmetics, it probably makes sense. But I think that price point might put people off unless they're hardened Battlefield fans.
Well, that's it. And with no campaign, then what is the roadmap when there's another Battlefield game due out next year or the year after? Yeah. It's kind of like it blurs the lines. And funnily enough, FIFA's being shown right now as part of the pre-show. We probably might not delve into it on the podcast this week because it's not coming to Stadia. But Pro Evolution Soccer renamed eFootball this week, also free to play. Yeah. So at what point is we said for years, Richie, why is FIFA and all sports games not just a platform in the team rosters, the team kits? Why is that not DLC? And every year you buy a literal sports season pass.
The answer is very simple.
Well, yeah.
It's been making them a lot of money.
Exactly. But now Pro Evolution Soccer, now known as eFootball, have done it. I wonder if this is going to shift the dynamic again for these sports franchises, which
I think the dynamic between FIFA and Pro Evo has been quite interesting because FIFA's largely had most of the licenses for all the actual names and the teams and stuff for a long time, which means that Pro Evo has always been looked down upon, not necessarily in terms of gameplay, but because no one wants to play Manchester Red versus Birmingham Blue.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I fell off. I think.
However, they've renamed them.
I'm sure they've got a little bit better since the early PS2 days, but
I must admit, I sigh when I'm playing FIFA 21 and I come up against Juventus because it's not Juventus.
Yeah, it's got the like a traditional
Yeah.
name, isn't it, instead? So, interesting conversation to be had. Free to play and DLC and season passes is definitely altering the economics of video, the whole video game industry as we know it, with all the way this is happening. So, interesting one to look forward to. But yeah, Battlefield, it's kind of a hard pass for me as it stands at £70. I can spend my money in a better place. If I want to play a first-person shooter, I do have other options, unfortunately.
Well,
arguably, some that do it better.
Thing.
So,
if I want to play first-person shooter on Stadia, I've got Rainbow Six Siege. If I want, I've got Destiny 2. Depending, there's two very different shooters right there. And if I want to play like a military-based shooter that isn't as tactical as like Siege, and I'm not on Stadia, I can just go to like Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah, Borderlands 3, of course. You got a looter shooter there. You've got the new Tom
Apex,
Clancy's Ex-Deviant just announced on
Valorant.
Stadia.
There's loads of shooters that are free to play.
Plenty of choices. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Alex is also saying no Dragon Age. Yeah, we know that's been confirmed. So no Dragon Age there. What else have we got in the chat? Unitrix stopping by. Unitrix, hope you're good. Hope everyone in the chat's great this evening. Just like Ray's dropping by. Hope you're doing well, Ray. Gaming Cyborg. Go check out his content if you haven't done that. Lots of collaboration. King of collaboration, some would say, with Ray. Two Bag, one of our newest members, because if you are watching along now and thinking, why do so many people have this lovely Stadia controller next to their name in the chat? That is because they click join on the youtube.com/Sounds of Stadia link right below where you're watching along right now. And from as little as 99p, you get badges next to your name, Stadia controller specifically. You get access to our special stickers. And not only that, we give you our Sounds of Stadia side quest episode up to 6 days early, and then it eventually drops on free feeds. Richie, we had a really good, interesting side quest this past week with one Clive Illenden, who was the guest on our podcast this week, and we dived, if I recall, deep into the mind of the problem Stadia is having with missing sequel franchises.
Yep.
Funnily enough, as we're about to watch a showcase where 2 of them are coming. We're getting Madden, we're getting FIFA 22, but we talk about Formula 1, we talk about NBA, we talk about golf, every other sport that basically doesn't have. Football Manager is a big one. Yeah. These annualized franchises that are not making a reappearance on the platform. So if you want to check that out 6 days early, you can do now by hitting join below, like our members do, and you can join over 50 of them right now. Or if you're a bit more patient and you want to save your money, just hang fire, and we drop it every Friday. It goes live tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. in fact, UK time, bright and early.
It's also on podcast feeds nowadays.
It is. You're right. So you can listen to it through your ears. Ears only.
Might not be on all of them yet. I still getting emails come through occasionally saying, "Oh, it's now been approved for this."
Indeed.
But we'll get there.
We'll get there. We're doing work behind the scenes, and of course, with 1 minute, 27 seconds to go, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to hear your predictions in the chat. You got any wild ones? You got any guaranteed ones? Drop them in the chat right now. We'll shout a few of them out. Dave is in the chat as well. What's going on, lads? Dave says. Hopefully some juicy EA news, Dave. But all is good. It's a bit cooler. I've got my blue lights on. Feeling chill. Got my drink. It's nearly the weekend. I've got a week off work. So plenty to look forward to. Who else we got? Daryl in the chat. Hope you good, Daryl. Says, what's up, people? Kumna's in there too. I've already said that. And Dave clarifying as well. Give me a story game. Too old and too busy for online PvP. I'm sure many of our viewers and listeners totally agree with you there, Dave. Totally agree.
I agree. I just don't have the patience to get good at them, and I'd rather play through a good story.
Good story.
I like multiplayer games. Like when we do like a Thursday night live streams, I always have a blast. But then, and I don't have the edge to jump back into them very often.
Yeah, it's when you do stuff in your own, the very little time probably most of us have as adults.
Yeah.
It's very hard, and chapter story content sometimes does suit us better. 15 seconds, folks. 15 seconds. Crazy Bad wants to see Anthem 2.0. Lol. I think that's dead and buried.
I think I might be about 5 seconds behind you, Chris.
3, 2, 1. Bulls for life in the chat. Holla guys as well, along with Emon. What's up, boys? We're all good. Here we go. Let's crank the volume up. We'll try not to talk over too much unless they go into a boring segment. And remember, as always, Richie, I can't hear you as well because I've got 2 channels of sound.
If Forrest asks, can you just pause your stream for just about 2-3 seconds?
All right.
Just so I can catch up.
1, 2, 3.
I'll be due.
That was quick seconds.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the next thing. It's currently blue. The Xavier Woods is walking out. Here he is.
Is
Yeah.
EA Play Live 2021.
Alright, he's just walking out now.
I'm your host, WWE superstar Xavier.
Right, his name's just popped up. Tell me when you see his name.
His
No.
name's popped up now.
Right, cool.
AKA Austin
We're in
Creed,
sync,
and
Richie.
We have an amazing show for you.
Let's
today.
go, people.
We've got world premiere gameplay.
Some
exclusive
fancy lighting
first
here,
looks,
smoke and mirrors and
including a
everything.
Brand new multiplayer experience for
Better than my lighting.
2042.
My lights are quite
And
low down, so when
they
it's still
don't
quite
even
light
like
outside, the
meetings.
top half of the room doesn't get lit.
Just like last year, we've got some amazing prizes
Oh,
to give
look at
away.
that,
So
white
keep an eye
bumper.
out throughout the show for hidden letters. They'll spell out a secret code that you'll need at the end of the show.
He's definitely.
If you want a
Oh,
chance to
oh,
win
we've got some.
large
We've got some
gear,
Crash Team
gadgets,
Racing.
and
Collect the letters,
thousands of
Richie.
codes
We got some
from
letters,
great
right,
EA
let's collect the
games,
letters.
What was that? I?
Mass Effect Legendary
I,
Edition,
yeah.
Dirt 5, and more.
It did say. He did say Mass Effect news there for Legendary. Maybe there's some software updates, Richie, to fix all the glitches you've been having.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they might have been fixed already. I haven't played in like a month and a half or something.
So yeah. I've just started Mass Effect 2, so. Oh, Codemasters.
EA has long
T.
played home
There's a
to
T.
fan favorite racing titles,
Interesting one to
from
start
Need for
with.
Speed to Burnout to Real Racing. And now that the experts at Codemasters are joining the EA family, that incredible lineup just got supercharged with the addition of franchises like Grid, Dirt, Project Cars, and F1. So if you like racing, if you like being in the driver's seat, you're gonna love what Codemasters has cooked up for us today.
Anyone seen any of
First,
streams? They know
let's
we
take a
shouldn't be
quick
in the
look
driver's
at what
seat.
they do best.
No, certainly not. Maybe they'll bring out a little kart racer. I'm great at kart races, terrible at simulation racing.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
it actually,
if I can't jump and drift, I can.
it's actually insane how like beautiful racing games showcase off the power of
Yeah.
video games nowadays. Like, I remember Gran
Yeah,
Turismo 2 and stuff being like the pinnacle at the time.
It's the pace you're going past and the clarity of the surroundings at that pace.
Bring back Colin McRae Rally. That was always one that I used to
Yes.
really enjoy.
Taka touring car racing.
Oh wow, yes. Daytona Speedway from the arcades.
Yeah.
Daytona. Love that one.
Top Gear Rally on the N64. That was a good game.
What do we think they're showcasing here then? Looks like Riders Republic.
I think they're just showcasing Codemasters in general, aren't they?
It's hard to tell because they're going through lots of different
That looks
sports.
like Grid there.
Hard to tell. New Grid game, says Daryl in the chat.
Yeah, it's just Codemasters.
Joining
But
us
there was
now
definitely some
from
Grid in
London
there.
is Codemasters senior game designer Becky Crossdale. Welcome, Becky.
We must be due another
Yeah.
Grid, to be
Hey,
fair,
now,
mind.
I
It's
heard
been
that
a
you
it's been a
might
few
have
years.
little surprise for us today.
Yeah.
Yes, I do, and I don't know if you can tell, Austin, but I am so excited because on behalf of the entire Codemasters team, this is the world premiere trailer for Grid Legends.
Ooh. Grid
There we go.
Legends. Now, will we see it on Stadia then? Because we've got Grid. It was one of their 10-pole launch
Awesome.
titles.
Yeah. Grid was initially released in 2019, October, so 2 years if
Yeah.
it comes out this year.
Interesting. We might actually see a logo, folks.
10 teams.
We might
Thousands of
actually see.
drivers. Only one can become champion.
My name is Yume Tanaka.
Now, my brain gets really confused when they segue gameplay with real-life footage when it's this quick. My brain
Yeah.
for a second goes, damn, they look really detailed. Oh, wait, they're just real people talking.
World champion.
Yeah,
Soon to be 6 times.
do you remember like full motion video back in the day? Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
actually would segue to different
Grid legal, I can build
things.
Yeah,
I love early 3D games where you had about 8 different graphic styles and they were built into one game.
yeah, 100%.
Best team.
I will say though, of all the racing games we have played on stream here at Sounds of Stadia, Richie, Grid we were probably the better at.
Yeah,
These idiots.
Felt like I had
I
a
think
better
Grid might have been the
hold.
most fun.
Yeah, it had a bit more like damage funded. Like, look at that. Speaking of fun, get a
Too
giant
bad
truck.
Grid wasn't originally by EA. It was originally by Codemasters, and EA have recently bought Codemasters.
Yeah, they picked
In fact,
2K.
I think this might be the actual formal announcement that EA have bought Codemasters.
I mean, they did like a press release, but this is the first public. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Becky,
No
this
platforms.
looks
That's probably better.
incredible.
Coming
On top of the
2022.
gameplay and the cars and the environments
Still
now,
hot.
we've got all
They're not
these
allowed to show.
characters
It's this
that
press
seem
conference, so they're not allowed to show a Stadia
already
logo,
incredibly
but they can't have it
invested. Looks
missing.
like you guys are really
So just don't show
up to
any.
date on storytelling.
Well, first and foremost,
Grid
the Grid
Legends.
series has always been about delivering gameplay excellence. And with Grid Legends, you are still getting that same immersive racing experience that you know and love. But this time we are taking
need to
things
get
up a notch,
Codemasters
and
working
we're
on
adding
another Micro
layer on
Machines
top of that.
game,
We
Richie.
are really
A proper
proud of
one
this
this
new
time.
story mode.
Well, I do
Yeah.
love a
None
good
of that.
story.
One that
I
isn't full
feel
of
like I've seen a lot
microtransactions.
those
Yeah,
races
and
so
doesn't
far.
come with couch co-op
Yeah,
multiplayer.
we had the absolute pleasure of working with the incredibly talented
Crazy
Shooty
stuff.
Is that what you
Gavwell,
want?
who plays the wonderful Eric in Netflix's Sex
Ooh.
Education. We also captured
Also,
the
they're not
entire thing
actual
using
races.
extended
I thought they were like
reality or
genuine
XR,
races.
Where if you've been watching Disney's The Mandalorian, you will have seen that tech in action. It's what they used to create those.
Oh, they're using the
incredible
3D
worlds.
Well, it sounds
Yeah.
amazing, but this obviously isn't racing in
studios.
space,
Interesting.
No, we are using.
Have you seen
this
that
tech to
stuff
draw you
in
further
Mandalorian?
into
What
this
It's
racing
the where the whole
experience.
studio is backlit with like
We really
OLED
want to
screens,
bring
and
you
it's
deeper
the
into
everything in the
football than
background, all the
ever
features.
before.
They're all
It's
ran on
also
like
been
Unreal
really
Engine.
great for our
So the
acting
art
because
designers like
acting
look at the
is
whole
something
background, the
that's
whole wall
visually
looks like
there.
it's real,
It's not
and all
the
this
same
it
as
basically you do with a
green
PC
screen
set
or
off to the
motion
side,
capture.
and you
They
can just
are
add assets in,
stepping
drop
into
assets
our
out, change the
reality
shadow, the
with
lighting
it.
live in the
Sounds
moment, so
great.
the
Can you
actors
give
can
us
respond
any
to it.
Oh,
hints on the
so it basically
story or
is
any
a
spoilers?
return to full motion video, but now the graphics are so well it can be blended.
Underdog tale.
Yeah, so that I think in The Mandalorian and all the other Disney stuff like Loki, they essentially put a few real props in. They go and create them, 3D print them, or whatever, pop them in to like just kind of blur the lines between the screen and the actual foreground. And then
It
the
gives it a bit of depth when you've got some real stuff in there as well.
Yeah, and it works great for like reflections and light because like you're getting the true reflections from the screens on like the helmets and the masks and everything.
Oh yeah, there are
So
many
clever,
vehicles. We are
so
giving you
clever.
Big rigs, stadium trucks, drift cars.
Was that
open
Stadia
wheels,
trucks or
muscle cars,
Stadium.
electric cars? We are giving you
Electric
hypercars
cars?
like the
That's
Aston
what you want.
Martin Valkyrie.
Eco,
Have you
go for a
seen
green
that
planet.
car? And we are
Formula
also giving
E.
you multi-class mixed
Tebu
racing,
says he thinks
which
it's called
means that you can
Stagecraft.
take Any of those cars and put
Quite
them
possibly. I'm
together
sure
on
there's
the
more
same
than one
track.
company doing it,
Well, I
but
just saw a big rig take
it's
out an open
it's
wheel
definitely
in
the
trailer,
future.
and
I'd love to be an
love it.
actor
So
rather
is
than have to
there
do stuff on
anything
green
else that
screen
you
to
can
actually
tell
go like,
us
let's drop you onto
about
this
Grid
planet, boom, and
We are
everything's like
giving
around you
too
happening.
much
It must be
away,
so much
and there
easier
is
to
a ton
respond
of new
to.
stuff for the fans to sink
It must be
their
really
teeth
hard,
into,
like,
including some
to
new,
interact.
modes
This is one of the things Lord of the
such
Rings
as
was
elimination
credited
mode.
for massively with
We've
Gollum,
also got some
because
brand
Andy Serkis
new
was there.
locations
They had someone
the
to act
iconic
against.
City of Moscow.
Yeah.
We've also got the beautiful city of London as well. So you can drive right past Buckingham Palace, or you could travel to the stunning.
I wonder if they do it
Strata
accurately,
Alpina
so you're just in
and take one of
traffic
our
jams the whole
beautiful
time.
hypercars to
Yeah.
its limits.
Don't make sure you pay your congestion
Yeah.
charges before you drive a Formula One car through the
Yeah.
streets.
New modes, new locations. This is beyond exciting. So Becky, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you, Austin.
Of course.
I want an LED
All right,
floor.
folks.
Yeah,
so we're
that would be
just
cool.
Getting started. We've seen Grid Legends, and now it's time for a different.
It's got some swagger, does Xavier Woods,
Apex.
doesn't he? There we go.
Two years ago, Apex Legends came out of nowhere. And now 100 million players and 17
100
Legends later,
million.
it just keeps getting bigger. We've got more modes,
OS.
more maps, more platforms for playing,
Got an
more
S.
Good
Legends.
spot.
So what's
So we've
next
got
for
it
Apex?
so far.
It's
Well, today,
coming home.
Don't too soon, Richie. Too soon.
ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Apex
So yeah, it could be FIFA.
Legends Emergence.
I don't think
Is
they'd
this
do
just
that
the new
to us.
season pass?
Yeah, probably a bit more detail.
Change. I see it in everything. I see it in a boy rocked by tragedy. Transform his pain
So, yeah.
and defy reality.
The art style doesn't look as Apexy as I remember.
Yeah,
I see
it looks
in a
more
warrior who must
Fortnite-y.
choose between
Oh, this might just be for the maybe the
and
cutscenes or
annihilation of
something.
their home.
There's no
Yeah.
chat. If you got any more detail, we haven't played Apex Legends, Richie, since
I
it
see
launched.
No,
Like,
it's true.
We played a good couple of
Don't you
games over
by
like a long
revenge
weekend, and then I think
embrace hope.
And we were terrible.
we were terrible. Yeah, so we didn't really learn. We didn't give it the time of day, probably.
I see it in me. A boy born under a bad omen turn his tail into a
Oh,
legend.
guy's got some moves
Change is
and
relentless.
some nanobots.
Yeah.
But that does not mean it cannot be beautiful.
Remember when Apex just like shadow dropped? Like I think it was leaked like the Friday,
Yeah.
and then by the end of the weekend, it was just like, oh, it's out now. This massive free.
It's out now.
Yeah.
It's also free to play, and it's like everyone playing is like, no, this is good. This is good.
In the ping system,
Nothing lasts.
gotta give them a
Such a
hand
simple
clap for the
idea.
ping system, and now everyone has it.
You must adapt.
Yeah. Even Mortals Phoenix Rising, which I'm playing at the moment.
Yeah.
And embrace your true.
Do you think they stole it actually off Breath of the Wild? Because that had a ping system.
I mean, games have had it before. I think it's so much
Yeah.
helpful.
It just
having
hadn't been
in
used in that context.
Yeah, in an online shooter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Know that you are not alone. Change.
Oh, you just got absolutely boned. I guess this is just a new character they're introducing then.
Yeah.
Magma Man. Mag Snipes. What would you call him, Richie? Throw a name on there. He seems to
There's
like...
something to do with his hat. He's
Yeah.
got a cool hat.
It's got a
Oh,
cool,
yeah, he had a frosty brim. I'm calling cool hat.
cool hat.
Yeah.
So I've got Magma Man and
All
cool
of
hat.
us thrown together.
Yeah.
So the
Chat, let
flame
us know what you
can
think.
burn
What could this guy, what could this new legend be called? Oh, he's behind you. Oh.
Yeah.
change.
Oh, they introduced 3 of them.
Fight it and fall.
Maybe, but it seems to be heavy focus on
Yeah.
cool hat.
Accept it
You mean Magma Man?
and rise above.
Ah, okay. Not gonna name him. Oh well.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and find out.
Might name him here.
Wow. I'm standing here like slack-jawed watching this because there's so much to unpack from that trailer. So let's go ahead and meet the man with all the answers, Apex game director Chad Grenier. So happy to have you here, Chad.
Chad, who's
Thanks,
probably a
Austin.
very
Happy to
rich
be
man
here.
off the back of
Before
the
we get
success of
started and get
Apex.
into it, I want
Yeah.
to give a shout out to the amazing developers at Respawn.
Who have we got in the
All right,
chat?
well, a subset of them.
Ben stopped by,
If you love Apex,
Battlefield,
it's because
lowered
of
your
these
ping
amazing
system,
developers
even got
that
points
are
for calling out
working hard,
enemies.
creating
Good
Apex
shout, Ben.
Legends for us.
Lee in the chat, hope you're doing well. Lee says the new legend is the man of many
Whoever came up with
pixels.
Lifeline, that's
And Antonio, Raiden,
There's a lot for us to
Raiden
talk
and
about,
Iron Man.
But you know I'm geeked about Seer, so can you tell
If
us more
only.
about his
One day
abilities?
we'll get
him
I
in.
saw this man stare through walls.
Iron Raiden.
He's got drones coming out of his chest. Please tell me about his kit.
Yeah,
I
similar
hate
to
Raiden in Metal
Bloodhound,
Gear
Seer
Solid.
is all about tracking enemies, but in a different way. And has
Oh,
a very
I was thinking
unique
Raiden
kit.
from
So
Mortal
while you're aiming
Kombat.
down the sights,
I was
you'll
thinking-
have
oh,
a
yeah,
heartbeat sensor
I guess
that
with
will
the
give you
hat.
hints
Yeah.
as to
That makes
where
more
an enemy
sense.
might be. If you think you've located them, you
I
can
just have
use
that
your
much
tactical,
disdain for the Metal
which
Gear
sends out
Solid
some of
one,
those
that's why I
drones out of your
immediately went
chest
to.
And will
Guess he wasn't
actually
Snake.
reveal and track
Yeah.
the enemy's location. The ultimate
Snake,
is really powerful,
Snake.
especially in certain gameplay situations. You can send out
Snake.
hundreds of micro drones and create a sphere around an area that you
Micro
choose,
drones.
and all enemies that are moving quickly through that space are tracked.
I love when there's new abilities that
Yeah.
kind of change the game, because this game obviously is always changing, always evolving, and whenever there's a new legend, there's always an
Is
interesting
it
shift
with
in the
these
meta.
type of games, you know, where they're
With
always
those
changing, and like
incredible abilities, how
Fortnite
do
cleared
you
out
Yeah.
the whole
see
map
it's
and
going
then
to
went
change
back.
the
Do
game?
you feel like there's a bit of a
Yeah,
shame
I
that like
mentioned
the
Bloodhound
original
also was a
content
tracker.
just is no longer there
But
anymore?
Unlike Bloodhound,
Uh,
Seer is about very
yeah.
precise and
Like it just
I do
doesn't
to a
exist
certain
because they've
degree,
changed
like-
it.
He's a
Because
bit
of the
more
memories
a
you've had,
Yeah.
but there again, you look at what Blizzard did with
And you're
World of
gonna see, I
Warcraft.
think,
They
some
brought out
interactions
World of
because of
Warcraft
that
Classic
sphere I mentioned in
to
the
basically
ultimate.
bring
If
back the
you're moving
original
quickly through that
stuff.
space, your footsteps are revealed.
But I don't know with things like Fortnite and stuff that will ever happen.
But now, if you're walking slowly, you can avoid the detection.
Or you could go the other way and
So I
go
think there's some
PUBG
interesting
also
gameplay
and just bring out
experiences and
new
ways to
maps.
play,
Let's just add,
with slowing
just
it
keep
down.
adding.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
like
well
once
that's
the
it.
weekend's
It makes for an
done
interesting kind of
especially, you're gonna
story
have
arc with like,
lot
oh, there's a
of new ways to play
meteoroid,
this
there's
game.
a black hole that sucked everything
Yeah.
into it. But
Season.
there must be some people who are kind of like, oh, I was really getting in my groove there with that particular area, and I knew where to hide, I knew where all the best loot was. And it's just like, oh, now it's all stuck into a black hole, start again.
Enjoy
Yeah.
arenas.
But I guess that's the kind of the part of the thrill, isn't
Yeah,
it,
I
of these
suppose-
games? Yeah.
I suppose the thing is, if you're massively into something like Apex or Fortnite, you're playing all the time, probably hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
And some other things come in. I don't want
Yeah, you probably get bored of the same map. You're probably glad for it when it changes.
All right, fair. Well, I do know that you guys announced ranked arenas are coming as
Two
well.
Bag in
So
the
can you
chat
give us
says
some
I still
information on
miss
that?
Tom.
Yep, so we've got one season.
We
of
all
arenas
do,
under
we
our
all
belts
do.
now.
He said,
We
not
wanted
long
to make
now.
sure that, we were
Not long
seeing
now.
how
It
players
must
were
be. I'm
putting
trying to think
their
of like the
balance
time
mode,
frame,
make sure to
Richie.
get
There
the
must be
balance
any
right,
day now.
make
You're
sure
probably
that
going to
the
see a
price
post on
and the
Twitter that
economy is
says
correct.
congratulations.
And now
Well, he
we'll be
wouldn't say
introducing the ranked
congratulations.
mode in Emergence.
He'd probably say
Yeah,
something about
congratulations to me.
it's something about it all
Have
begins
in
now.
The Battle Royale
Yeah.
mode. So we're really excited for you to get your hands on it.
Well, it's really cool to.
Well, we'll
see
keep you up to
Apex
date on the
Legends doing
podcast, so
things
watch
like,
long.
For instance,
Yeah.
leaning into the
In the loop.
competitive scene with things like the Apex Legends Global Series. So are we going to see more?
Do you think
of
Xavier
ALGS?
Woods enjoys
Absolutely.
wrestling
We
more,
just ended
gaming
year
more
one
now?
of ALGS. Our championships recently concluded.
Because
and it
he's
was
leaned
amazing.
very
I
heavily
don't
into
know.
gaming in the
Tactics
last like
and
2-3
amazing plays in
years.
there. Many teams were.
Well, yeah, but
fighting
he's
for the
he's
championship in the last
he's
round.
always been a
We hit
massive
record
nerd.
numbers,
He's
so
been
we're
into
really
gaming,
excited
into
in
anime,
September
into
to be kicking off
cosplays,
year two of
into
ALGS. And for
all
the
the
first
nerd
time,
shit.
we're going to be inviting
Yeah, wrestling. He's into all the
PlayStation
nerd
and
shit.
Xbox players
I think
to
it's one of them.
compete
As he
alongside
gets
players
older,
to see
though,
who's best.
I think wrestling's
And
probably
all
getting
these
harder and
games.
harder to do.
We have
I
more
don't know if
information
I don't know how old
at
he is.
I don't think he's. Well, I mean, what do you think of like how many wrestlers keep coming
Beyond
back?
looking forward to
I think
it.
the Undertaker
Jack,
retired like
before
3
you go,
times, didn't he?
I have
And he
to
was
ask,
well into his
when can we
50s.
see more from Seer?
So Xavier Woods is 34,
Trailer coming on Monday.
which for something
Emergence drops on
as
August 3rd.
intense as wrestling
For now, I can show
feels
you
like
the
it should
picture.
be old. But I'm not a wrestling
Please,
fan, so hard to say.
He looks quite ripped still.
Yeah, no, it's hard to maintain that level of physique.
So much of us. But from you, she
He's
demands
back.
Yeah.
everything.
Yep, that's all I need to see. It's so awesome.
20s.
But Chad,
That's a
thank you
trailer,
so much for
reveal
being here.
trailer.
Thanks, Austin.
Of course.
Okay.
And again, big shout out to the whole Respawn team. Now for the Apex fans watching us on Twitch today, Respawn is hooking you up with an exclusive Jump Master gun charm. So make sure you've got your
Richie,
Twitch
we can't
and
get it.
EA account linked and keep watching the show to earn that drop.
Yes, I
That's
can
not
get a
the
charm
only
for a
thing
game I
we're
don't
giving
play.
out today. Keep an
Oh,
eye
damn.
out for the hidden letters that spell out a secret phrase, because at the end of the show, we'll give you a link where you can enter that code.
Don't
for
you
your
think
chance
the
to win
phrase
some
should
great
like
prizes,
spell
including
whatever the
codes
surprise
for
is at the
EA
end?
originals
Like
Knockout
it's
City and
dead
It Takes Two.
space. And then just as you get the last bit, it's like, and then they reveal it. Oh
Speaking
shit!
of originals, let's
Oh.
head across the ocean for some stop motion and check out a soon-to-be-released EA original, Lost in Rain.
They really are pushing this game.
They
aren't
are, yeah. I didn't think it was going to be in the main show because it was in the pre-show.
Young Austin found himself introducing a new segment.
Does look good though.
Hello?
He stalled, bewildered by the voice coming from somewhere unknown. Somewhere random.
Okay. All right, anyway, it's coming soon and it looks really cool.
Austin stopped himself. Why, he'd forgotten to mention the Tribeca Film Festival selection.
It was a selection at the Tribeca Film Festival.
He tried the line again, more enthusiastically.
Look, man, I'm trying to run a whole show. and you
More enthusiastically. Really selling it.
Could you just let me intro the segment? Thank you. It was an official Tribeca Film Festival selection this summer, and it's coming soon. Joining us from Gothenburg, Sweden to tell us more is Zoink creative director Olav
Zoink.
Redmo.
Hello, Austin.
How's it going, Olav? Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations
The
on Tribeca.
transitions
It's so
with
cool
the
to see
set
video games right
really,
next to
really
movies being
smooth.
regarded
I
as they should.
appreciate the
Thank
production
you,
value
Austin.
that they're
I'm
putting
so
in.
proud of the Sonic team and what we've accomplished.
It's good.
And I'm so happy about the selection.
The thing is, this is the level of
It's
production value
really
we've come to
inspired by
expect
all
now,
these
so everyone has to
movies
match
that I
and
grew
keep
up
up.
with and stop-motion
Sony's
animation,
ruined it for
fairy
us.
tales, and
What about,
that's what we're always trying to push narrative in video
Koch
games.
Media?
So happy, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and they got hammered for us.
Of my life.
That's time in our life we'll
I'm
never get
super
back,
pleased to
Richie.
share a first look at one of our most unique aspects of Lost in Venom's gameplay.
It was fun in its own way.
It's an exciting, explosive blend of real-time action and time-stop tactics, where every roll of the dice unleashes incredible powers out of the head of your Jack-in-the-Box.
I'm looking at these falling cards
Well,
to
it
see if there's any
sounds
letters
awesome.
secretly
So,
hidden.
let's take a look.
Lost in
Once
Rain.
upon a time, there were two devoted sisters named Even and Odd. Cruelly separated by an evil queen and the roll of a dice.
I like this little guy.
Together with this little fella,
What, the dice?
determined to rescue
Mr.
her
Die.
sister.
Dicey. Classic. Dicey McDice face.
Fascinating
Yeah.
world of random. Adventure and combat go hand in hand. And many peculiar characters await.
It's got a very Tim Burton feel to it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You mean
It's the Gimp Man.
and some won't.
That's against the rules.
Fish in a hat.
Oh, sure. A little girl with a dice.
Those coins can be traded for cards.
Cards. I got cards here, the greatest cards in the land.
It's Duke from Resident Evil.
Abilities and more.
Except he's literally in the wardrobe this time.
During dice battle.
Oh, I miss Duke. I hope he's in the DLC.
Even uses her slingshot to attack deadly foes. This can knock off energy cubes used to feed her strange companion Dicey. And once
It's kind of
Yeah, too. That gives me Guild vibes as well.
yeah,
doesn't it?
it does. I think it's like
But that give me Tim Burton vibes, so...
let's see how she uses
It's
it.
interesting kind of dynamic mix, isn't it? Of like,
Yeah.
like with the card game being kind of an overlay to
Yeah.
the action and the puzzles.
Impressive.
Yeah, it's like... It's almost like a turn-based RPG in some ways.
Well done, even.
But instead of doing the dice rolls in the background, you literally have a companion dice.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a good one.
With it being an EA Originals as well, it's probably going to come in at a quite a reasonable price point. Similar to
Yeah,
It Takes Two.
and with a high level of polish.
But just a chance at saving her sister.
Yeah, well, It Takes Two, like, it wasn't the best visually, but it was still, like, more than acceptable for like, 2021.
I like EA Originals because it's a big publisher taking some quirky ideas and running with them. And you don't see a lot of that, to be honest, from big publishers. You see a lot from indie studios, but...
Just from that alone, I already need to play this game. It looks so cool. But what can you tell me
I
about
need a
these
dicey air
combat
freshener
cards
for my
that
car, Richie.
Cards are just one part of dice battle.
to hang down
I love
from
the way
the-
they
from
look.
the
That'd be
I
cool.
have a few examples to show off.
Oh, okay, awesome. What are we looking at here then?
So as you saw, cards can be selected during combat that unleash new powers and abilities. Like this one, for instance, explosive dice, which turns Dicey into this ticking time bomb. But you just gotta be careful so it doesn't blow you up. Keep your distance. And where's this hammer of 2 lets you summon a giant hammer, which also gives even super strength to be able to swing it around.
Offensive maneuvers, I like it.
But it's not just about offense. Like we have also, for instance, Uma's Blessing,
Apparently
which
Stadia
comes from Uma,
flirting
the
with
old hidden witch.
Sega on
And she
Twitter.
provides a bubble shield to protect evil.
Interesting.
And that's just a taste. Like
Any
there's a lot of
particular
different powers at your
IP
disposal.
or
Some
just-
curse enemies,
No,
some
they've
heal
dropped the
evil
post
or
saying
great
this one's for you
some
creators.
weakness
I've
also
tagged you in it
gives
anyway.
giant board games affected
We're
by
opening
rolling
up
dice.
applications
So
to
you
join
gotta
the
try
beta for
different tactics to
crowdplay.
conquer the queen's
Then they've replied to their own tweet saying, looking at you at Sega.
Obviously, my
Then
next
eye
question, you know
emojis.
it's coming. When can we play this game?
Yeah, my favorite question.
Could be a story for the
Lost in Random
podcast.
releases on
Add
September
it to the
10th
doc.
on PC, console, and Nintendo Switch, and you can
I
pre-order
don't
starting
know.
right after the
PC,
show.
console, Nintendo
And
Switch.
if you want a dicey companion
Is
for the
Nintendo
road,
Switch on a
it will be
console?
available to EA Play members as a gun charm in one of my
Nah.
favorites, Apex. So keep an eye out for that.
There's
I don't know.
another jam.
You all heard it here first. And
Yeah.
Olav, thank you so much for joining us today.
It has been my absolute pleasure, Austin, and welcome to Random.
Thanks. Well, there you have it. Lost in Random is coming soon, but there's another EA original that's already here. And it's bringing that throwback playground heat to the masses. That's right. I'm talking about Knockout City.
City. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Knockout City, of course. Big,
Dropped earlier this
just
year,
essentially
Knockout City has had
dodgeball
one
meets
hell of a summer,
Battle
and
Royale,
just
right?
getting warmed up. Here
Yeah,
with more is Karthik Bala from
sounds
Villain
good.
Studios in New York.
I've not played it, have you?
No, I did
We're so
kind of
grateful to our community.
tempt
for the
myself with
massive
the
response to
open
Knockout
beta
City.
they did, I think, or the
With
closed beta
millions
they did
of
a few
new
weeks
brawlers,
ago, but I just never
hundreds
got
of
around to
thousands
checking it
of
out.
views, and nearly $1
But I've heard great
billion
things
videos
about it.
landed.
Yeah,
Your
is it free to
response
play?
has really been
I don't
knockout.
think it's going to be. I think
As an indie team dedicated to
I think it has to
taking
be, but I
creative
can't really
risks, having
remember.
all
It would
of
make
you
sense.
embrace this unique
Yeah.
thing we've made is an amazing feeling. And I just want to say thank you. At launch,
you.
we
It's-
promised you new features
it's
and
currently on
updates
Steam for
that keep the game
£17.99.
fresh and
Right.
exciting. Today, I'm here to
that
deliver.
Or you can get on
access?
EA Play.
On behalf of the whole Valve
Um,
Studios team,
Doesn't
it's my
appear to
absolute
be.
thrill
It
to
just
present
is
Knockout
available
City
for purchase.
Season 2, Fight at the Movies.
Season 2.
In a world
Yes, it's already out.
chaos, where mayhem rules the
I
It's
thought it
free
was-
to play up to level 20.
anyone
Yeah.
strong
3v3, according to Brendan McBride in the chat. You can also get it on EA Play starting at £3.99 a month.
world where one hero rises to meet instant regret. A world where lovers chase their passions.
Instant
and feel
regret.
The burn.
Yeah.
A world where terror lurks high above.
Instant regret.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where warriors fight for dodge brawl supremacy.
Dodge Brawl.
And
I see what you've done there.
brawlers battle it out in a child's
Which Nexus
bedroom?
Players asks in the chat, will EA Play come to
This
Stadia? I hope so.
Moves to the
I think there's a good chance.
I mean,
If we get more EA Play games over.
yeah, I mean, what side quest episode did we theorise? Was it like 2 episodes back? We, sorry, it must be like last week.
The one that goes live tomorrow was on Missing Franchises. The one before that was on EA Play Live, basically prediction episode for this.
Yeah, we
Then there's Stadia Pro before that. Next gen. It's a while back.
I thought we mentioned it with the EA predictions for this, saying how EA Play would be another great partner, very similar to Ubisoft Plus. Whereas they could take the biggest cut of the pie and just have their games on their own cloud platform via Stadia, and take the biggest chunk of the pie.
It might have been episode 12 because that was on the mystery games. That was before we got the FIFA and Madden reveals.
We probably mentioned it a few times on the podcast as well.
All right.
Knockout City.
Everyone, the moment that you have been waiting for is here.
Battlefield.
What would you do if, like, the secret words were it's all coming to Stadia?
You've read the hot takes and you already know that Battlefield is back, baby.
We could
You hear
dream.
me? It's back. Battlefield is back.
The only way
baby.
that
It's
would happen
Battlefield. I
is
can't
if
wait to wing
Google
surfer
bought
to
EA.
hell. This game is gonna be so good.
We having
In
it.
just a moment, we're revealing a
It's still on. It's all coming to Stadia, guys.
2042 experience. But first, for those who haven't been paying attention, here's what you've been missing out on.
I thought we were going to show all the letters again then.
Yeah.
Jem's excited for Battlefield in the chat. It's Battlefield campaign this. It is indeed.
Yeah.
Gonna have to do something big to get me back in. And Mike in the chat,
Yeah.
Shem hasn't been anything for Stadia as so far. We're hoping for Apex will come. I think we're just gonna have to wait for some announcement for things like this now. But we've mentioned, I can't remember what show it was on Richie. We do that many now. The kind of concern now the 2 Ubisoft games are being pushed back. What the back end of this year looks like for titles. We're getting FIFA,
Yeah.
but we're not getting Battlefield. So what else is there? We're not getting Call of Duty. We would
On
anticipate.
behalf of our entire team, we hope you're thrilled with what you've seen so far from
I really
Battlefield
don't know what to
2042.
expect.
But this
And who knows
is
a
just
square?
the beginning. We have so
We're not getting
much
Marvel's
more to
Avengers,
show
not
you.
Avengers. Sorry, we're not getting Guardians of the
Battlefield
Galaxy as far as we're
2042
aware
is
as
built
well.
up by
Which I still think we are. They're
epic
just keeping it secret
experiences.
for some reason.
Firstly, of course,
Yeah, which is
World
stupid.
Warfare
When you're trying to
will
attract
show
more
you
players to your
out
platform, just tell them
Secondly,
what's coming.
Hazard Zone that will show off.
If a game's
this
been
year.
announced,
And
might as
now,
well
a new
tell us.
community-driven experience that we're happy to share with you today. Built by our old friends over at Triple Effect, formerly Dice LA. It's an experience
gonna say Triple-
designed from community feedback.
Ripple
It's an
Effect, they're the
experience
ones who
we've
just
dreamt about
rebranded
building
the
for
studio.
over a decade. So
Yeah,
let's
we're
have
still
a look.
getting Far Cry 6. That's something that's still coming.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Good old Ubisoft.
I always try to think though outside of Ubisoft because we're
Yeah.
I'm at a point now with Ubisoft and Stadia where it's like if it's a Ubisoft game, it's probably coming to Stadia, or it's got a very good chance. I'd expect it. It's the other publishers that I'm more interested in keeping an eye on.
That was like Terminator 2 vibes there. Chris Torres in the chat as well. Brendan, sorry. Nathan as well. I missed you guys out. Patrick as well up there. saying the chat audio is loud compared to the EA Play audio. Apologies for that.
What, we're too loud? But
Yeah,
it's too loud.
So. Way too loud. Crank that up a bit. Apologies if I just blew everyone's ear out.
Yeah.
Chris Torres as well saying, yeah, I'd like to see other games outside of Ubisoft come now. Yeah, I'd say, but like you were saying, Richie, I think we're quite confident about that, but it would be nice to have a wider spectrum of publishers coming in. Because Ubisoft are great, I'm a huge fan of Ubisoft games, love them through and through, but there is an argument to be made, they're quite formulaic, quite similar, and I would love to just see the platform showcase more. The Resident Evil games were great, but where are the other Resident Evil games? Like, we're gamers, we always want more, we always want the next thing. And by the looks at E3 and Summer Games Fest, we're not getting a lot of what was on the show this summer. So, including Battlefield, of course.
I'm hoping Stadia just means Stadia about things and keeping the cards close to the chest, despite the fact that I think every content creator who covers Stadia feels that's a bad idea. You're trying to get more people on your platform, tell them what's coming.
Yeah. Again, I don't mind stealth drops of older titles that like a year, 2 years, because that's like, oh, that's a nice surprise. But stuff that's coming up in the future, no one else does it. Past Stadia.
Yeah.
Battlefield Portal.
Yeah.
Not Battlefield crossed with Portal. That would be a crazy game.
That'd be crazy. I wish Valve made more games. Valve make 2 games in a franchise, both of them are always critically acclaimed, then stop.
They're too busy focusing on their Steam Deck now, Richie.
Yeah.
Got other business to deal with. Alright. No logos, just the developers.
This looks
We're getting no logos. So we've had not a single platform logo.
It's not coming out anywhere.
Defibrillators, we got soldiers from every year. I have so many questions, so let's bring on an expert. Here to help us out is the general manager of Ripple Effect. We've got Christian Grass. Welcome, Christian.
Whenever a wrestler says general manager, I expect like Vince McMahon to walk out or something.
Now, that trailer, absolutely ridiculous. Like, what the hell did we just see?
So what you just saw was the Battlefield Portal. It's a new community-driven experience that gives players the freedom to write their own rules.
Give me the chat says, by the way, there's a second game mode we're announcing. We've got one more juicy game mode later this year to show.
BF3 and Battlefield.
I mean, again, they need the variety with not having the campaign.
Then you can share and discover those on the Portal platform.
I am looking forward to see how these like the best thing I love with Battlefield and Battlefront games is just the sheer amount of numbers.
And this is your squad
out there. It's
yes,
insane.
This is the fantastic Ripple Effect team, and they deserve all the credit in the world for creating this great experience.
With V-Rise,
we've had so much fun bringing back some
I was going to say many years ago, it's like
vehicles,
early days of the Sounds of Stadia podcast of how well Stadia could be for MMOs.
Huge credit.
Because there's just how many like different characters it can just render easily.
All right, so to bring it back, when you say beloved maps, we're talking Caspian Border?
Yes.
Arica Harbor?
Yes.
El Alamein?
Yes, El Alamein is also included.
He's not going to say no, they're on the wall behind him.
Plus, we have Noshar Canal.
And this one? No.
Battle of the Bulge.
Battle of the Bulge.
And of course, all 7 of the new epic scale maps already announced for 2042, they're also playable in Portal.
I love it. But this is more than just maps, right?
Absolutely. Portal is a chance for the community to
He said that as if he was already aware.
He's
aware of everything.
Even an advanced logic editor for you to play around with.
Oh, wow.
Tools that were previously
That's cool.
It's a bit like Far Cry arcade mode by the sounds of it. You're going to have a little bit more tools to tweak stuff at your disposal as a player.
How wild can we actually get with Portal?
You can get pretty wild.
Yeah? Okay, so can I pit World War II against 2042?
Yes, you can.
Okay, what about game modes? Can I make an infection mode where it's me against a ton of super fast soldiers with knives?
Absolutely.
Okay, what about shoddy snipes? But not
sharks with laser beams.
Like a gun game with a whole bunch of shoddy snipes.
Oh, and the sharks with lasers on their heads.
That is a very specific idea there, Austin. But yes, actually you can.
Batting 3 for 3, bring it home. Can I play as a penguin with a flamethrower?
A penguin with a flamethrower?
Yeah.
No, I mean, look.
Terrible game. Cancel it now.
Yeah. You can't edit the maps themselves. And no, you can't play
skins. Can I have a penguin skin?
Right. That's fine.
Yeah. Somewhere,
but it does
Adam, original penguin, his ears pricked up. He's like, what?
The options
I really want EA now to just bring out a penguin suit skin so they can use play as a penguin for
We
flamethrower.
want this experience to go where you want to take
That's
it.
That's going to
We
be the
see
next
sandbox
EA
as a big
Originals
part
game.
of the future of Battlefield 2042.
Penguin with a flamethrower.
Well, I
That's just the
assume
title.
the community is going to have
Get
a
Austin Creek to voice it.
I really hope players will embrace
Yeah,
Portal.
that'd be great.
That's who we built it for. In fact, we gave a sneak peek to a
Let's
few
see.
members of the community to see what they could come up with.
Oh, okay. I assume my invitation got lost in the mail, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
it's a nice
that's
little
fine.
nod to
Let's check
earlier
it out.
games, maps and stuff.
2 teams and 2 VIPs,
we
but
go.
only one way to score.
Where are they
This
going?
is VIP Fiesta by Courage.
Okay.
It's the US factions of Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2, facing off on Arica Harbor with 24 players and random loadouts. Die and you'll redeploy with an all-new loadout. Track down that enemy VIP and make it count.
Well, he got a really good respawn zone right above the enemy.
Power of 2042 to Caspian border.
With just the right equipment to take them
I'd
all out.
be human with that. I was like, I've just killed them by charging through the gate, and then you get another 5 foot in front of you, and he respawns dropping a grenade on your head. But like, spawn them a bit further away from the action.
2042 are taking on 32 players from 1942.
Oh, this is one thing I've always thought about time travel. Imagine going back in time with anything from today, like a gun, and like if they all have swords and horses, and you've got a Gatling gun or something or a laser gun.
But do it before your tickets.
You just rule the world, Richie.
Well, have you seen The Last Samurai?
Yeah,
The final battle is like, this is the samurai charging against the machine guns and just getting cut down.
Fine.
And be like that.
Set up on Orbital for the fight of your lives with Robot Man by Redacted.
Although nowadays, your opponent, the enemy army who turn up to the battlefield, you'll be sat in a local cafe with a laptop and just get a call in a drone strike.
Battlefield debates on who wins what.
Oh, looking down the barrel.
Yeah.
Very epileptic inducing.
Come on, dude. Robot Man, what?
Come on, chat. Is the third game mode kart racing? That would be a twist.
In tanks,
Can't tell you
tanks
that,
and
sorry.
little sidecars.
What I can tell you is that we're so excited for the players to create or simply discover their favorite new way to play Battlefield. And we can't wait
I want
to explore and try
stormtroopers.
out
Use
the
your other
thousands
IP.
of
Get stormtroopers in it.
experiences
I want World
community
War
will
II
build
Nazis
once they
versus
have the tools in their
stormtroopers and
hands.
see who
And
wins
we
out
get our
there.
hands on Portal at launch, right?
Yes. Portal will be available at launch. Day
XP
one,
in Portal
along
will be
with a
counted towards the
bunch
main
of
game as well.
pre-made modes for you
That's
to
cool.
try right away.
Cool.
And it's all
This
online,
is-
isn't it?
this
So it
is
should
fantastic.
cross
Yeah.
over everywhere.
Christian,
See?
before you go,
See?
let me make sure that I have all
Super
of this
Battlefield
straight.
kart.
So on top of all
It's
the content
ack.
and maps that have already been announced, we also get content from Battlefield 1942, Bad Company 2, and Battlefield 3, including 6 of the best maps of all time, and all that can be sliced, diced, and mixed together in Portal. And then we still have Hazard Zone coming later this year.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling
must
you.
be
If
Hazard
you've
Zone would be the
never
third
been a
reference,
fan,
yeah.
or if you've never played
Yeah.
Battlefield before, we want Battlefield 2042 to be the ultimate Battlefield experience.
Christian, just thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure, Austin. I'll see you on the battlefield.
All right, so
that a
Portal looks
threat?
incredible, and we could end things there, but
Okay.
I don't think we're done just yet. We're gonna leave you with one more surprise.
It's
First,
sack.
though, you remember that secret code?
It's sack.
I hope you were paying attention because all of the letters have been revealed. So, if you want to win some awesome
It's
games
sack.
and gear, stick around
What have
because
we-
we're
have
gonna
we missed
give
some
you the link
letters?
to enter in just a second. But for now, come with me.
I've got It's A.
I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I've enjoyed
Have you
being
missed
your
the
host.
C and the K?
Now, my name is
Yeah.
Austin Creed, and our last reveal is somewhere in there.
Oh, Dead Space.
But you know what? Why don't you go first?
Oh no. I don't want to go in there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks Dead Spacey, guys. There's blood on the floor, Richie. Here we go. Oh shit. I hope it's a bit more than just like the name trailer reveal or something. Oh, there he is. Dead Space.
It's definitely Dead Space.
Motive of making it. Dead Space Legendary or Remaster. Oh, there's some names. No.
Only available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox and PC. I think that was.
No Stadia. There's your code, folks. If you've been following along, enter for a chance to win. www.playr.gg/EAPlayLive and enter its sack. If we got it right. Is that it? Is this the end, Richie? It seems to be the end. It's not cool. I feel there's a presentation if they're going to linger on this for this long. That seems to be the end.
Yeah, I think that's the end.
He's going to have these weird shaped blocks knocking together. Right then, folks, that was... I'll just jot down Dead Space so I do not forget it, because as always I've made some notes so we can recap and retread that. Dead Space remake, we think, rather than a legendary... We propose, Richie, it may have been a legendary edition similar to Mass Effect.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm down for a remake if it does well. I know the first one's probably one of the most revered. Let's have a little skip back just to recap for the lovely people in our audience right now. If we get there right to the beginning of the show. Where was it at? Tick, tick, tick. Here he is, Austin Creed, Xavier Woods, showing up. So first of all, Richie, he showed off Grid Legends from Codemasters, recently acquired by EA. Showing off the new game 2022. We do not know if it's coming to Stadia. Was not confirmed or not.
They have put out a press release, and there's no mention of Stadia in the press release. But if you bear with me while I find it, it does mention I think Xbox and Grid Legends will be released in 2020 on Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5 alongside PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC.
Okay, so we'll have to watch that one. We've also got an update for Apex Legends and their Embrace Season Pass content, we guess, is coming out. Showcased a little bit off of that.
Yeah.
We'll probably skip past that as well. They showcased Lost in Random once again, which is the game they've been teasing for quite some time. One of the EA originals. Almost like claymation stuff mixed with... Who do we say, Richie?
Sorry, can you...
Tim Byrne, I couldn't think of the name. I was trying to stall for saying Tim Byrne. Yeah, Lost in Random was showed off. We've got some more content regarding that creepy, eerie world. Probably time for a release date. I don't think we saw any release dates, did we? For anything other than Season Pass
there's
content.
A press release on that one as well, and it doesn't look like that one's coming to Stadia either.
GRS just joined us as well.
Oh, actually, we have a release date for this. It'll be September the 10th, 2021 for Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC on Origin and Steam.
Right, okay. And I can see in the chat as well, for the letter game that they were playing all along, Lonnie has confirmed the code was "It's Back," probably referencing Dead Space.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Lonnie. Thank you for that. We missed that one critical letter for not paying attention. So yeah, Lost in Random. It looks great. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Probably won't see it, unfortunately, on Stadia at this moment in time. You'd never know. They then went a little bit more into some Knockout City updates. Again, dodgeball game. It's live now if you want to go play it. And then starting getting near the end, they wrapped up with a Battlefield 2042 showcase. They spoke about Portal, which is its kind of online multiplayer community channel where you can customize your own games, add features in across the whole Battlefield history, going back to Bad Company of Heroes and stuff. Bad Heroes, Company of Heroes. The name's in there somewhere. You know what you're talking about. And then finally, they wrapped up with a very, very brief, Richie, showcase of Dead Space remake, we presume it's going to be. They didn't give it a number. They didn't give it a legendary moniker, so therefore it looks like it's from the ground up, judging by the graphics on show. In-game engine, it did say. Working on a game in development. I've only ever played a little tiny bits of Dead Space, so this is probably, from everything showcased today, this is probably the biggest thing on my radar whenever it ends up coming out.
I'd say the same. It's either Dead Space or Lost in Random for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a racing game fan. I'm not much of a multiplayer game, so like Apex and Battlefield, not that bothered about, to be honest. I'd love to see them on Stadia, especially Apex as a free-to-play game, but yeah.
Certainly would. All in all, 40 minutes. Quite a brief showcase. I think it's weird that they did, in hindsight, keep out the FIFA, the Madden, the golf, all the other little kind of the games that they've been showing for the last 2 to 3 days over on their channels. I feel like you could have had something at least about FIFA, maybe, Jordan, just to kind of flesh out the show a little bit with a bit more variety. But it is what it is. Of course, there's the code on screen now. If you want to go enter that with the code, it's back for your chance to win. Did they even specify what you win? I can't remember that. We were talking for quite a lot of it.
I don't know. I don't think
Just
so.
something related to EA. Let's check in with the chat. Let me know your thoughts, folks. GRS, what have you missed? We said that. Recap for you there. Of course, we will cover a lot of this on the podcast. We'll go a little bit in detail about some of the things that we probably think have a bigger chance coming across the Stadia and some that don't. Patrick says, very disappointed. Has EA stopped supporting Stadia? We're not really sure. That's the weird thing. They are obviously supporting it with Madden 22, FIFA 22 coming out later this year. And they did originally announce, or Phil Harrison originally announced about a year and a half ago now, that he's worked with EA to bring 5 games across to the platform. That will be our 5. 4 sports titles, annualized iterations, and of course, Jedi Fallen Order we did get as well. So, but that can always change. Rules can change, new games can come. Seems weird that they put a number on it in hindsight. Nathan in there, very disappointed from EA as well. At least we've got Marvel's Avengers free-to-play weekend next week. We do as well with the War of Wakanda DLC coming out. Of course, Square Enix, we don't really know what they're doing yet still with some of their other games, Guardians of the Galaxy for one, but we do know they're bringing the other titles from Life is Strange and the new Life is Strange entry. Lee in the chat says, nothing for Stadia. I can already hear Duncan's keyboard clacking away from here, typing up his article. Antonio already started, already getting in a minor scuffle with him in response. Yeah. So it is what it is, folks. You know what? We know they like to keep the cards close to the chest. Yeah. We're into, end of July, nearly August now, Richie. We've not had a peep regarding Stadia Connect. We obviously get the news blogs and stuff. There's a bit of promotion there for kind of funny. But all in all, quite brief, not as big. I don't know why it wasn't just as part of E3. I guess they've got their own narrative now, but time will tell. What would you say? How would you rate this, Richie, on a American school grade of A, B, C, C minus, F for fail?
I think it depends who you are. This one very, very much. If you're a big multiplayer game, you got 3 massive multiplayer titles to talk about. We've got Grid Legends, that's new. Yeah. More about Battlefield with a bit more detail about different game modes. The Portal stuff seems really cool. And a new season of Apex Legends with a new legend. All that, if you're a big multiplayer game, is great for you. If you're not, this is pretty bare bones.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's a few things in there. I do like most of the stuff in the show, but just kind of nothing that's getting me hyped right now for the end of the year. But of course, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. We do have the big sports games. We really shouldn't shy away from them because, they are definitely coming. And I'm really looking forward to the more I see of FIFA 22, the more I'm really, really looking forward to all the tweaks and upgrades they're making for this next iteration. But that's been it for our EA Play. I always said sports then. EA Play.
EA Sports.
Live stream watch along. Of course, we've been Sounds of Stadia, where myself, Chris, my co-host, the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie, and our currently on paternity leave, techie teacher himself, Mr. Tom, get together every week to round up all the Stadia and gaming news for your listening and viewing pleasure. And we do that every week. Goes live on Mondays, here on the channel, and also over on all those cloud podcast services you listen to. Spotify, Google Podcasts, you know the drill by now. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't done so already. We really appreciate it. Helps out with the algorithm and lets other people out there find more Stadia content. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen today, contemplate joining the channel as a member, get access to special stickers in the chat, a lovely Stadia controller next to your name, and more importantly, access to Sounds of Stadia side quest up to 6 days early. It drops on a Sunday, right after we've recorded and edited and uploaded it. Richie, this week, what are we talking about?
We are talking about the missing sequels, and Grid is now one of them.
Grid is now a missing sequel to talk about. I actually thought you said seagulls at first then. I thought,
where's the whole seagulls gone?
It's a conspiracy. The seagull drones are not out there anymore. Seagull on Stadia, of course. But thank you very much for everyone tuning in. We'll be back, of course, next week with actual gameplay live stream. We might squeeze one in there depending on schedules and stuff, but it is a very, very busy summer for us all. We are coming up, of course, to episode 100 of the Sounds of Stadia podcast. Thank you, everyone, for your support so far. It's been absolutely amazing. We've got some good plans in the works. to enjoy with you, the wonderful Stadia community. I hope you all have a good week. Hope it's not too hot where you are. We'll see you on the other side. Thanks for watching. My name's been Chris.
I've been Richie.
We've been Sounds of Stadia. Have a great week, everyone. Take care. And we're out.
Bye.